This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you, Ashlyn. Appreciate it. So the first piece is open up the meeting for public comment, either anyone in the room or online. Okay, hearing none, we will move on. As we did our last meeting, I would like to take a few moments to just do some introductions, just so that we know who's in the room, especially at the table and in our audience. It's helpful, I think, for everyone to know who everyone is. So, Christopher, you want to start on your end? We'll work our way around.
Chris Agizio, Seton Medical Center in Harper Heights.
Thank you.
Cliff Smith, Ride Safe Non-Emergency Transportation.
Thank you, Cliff.
Daryl Berkner, Hill Country Transit District.
Thank you.
Tony Austin, Hill Country Transit District.
Alicia Rep. Anita Janke, Central Texas Council of Governments.
And I'm Ben Lopez, Director of our Workforce Center in Temple.
Rhonda Kelton, Central Texas Rural Transit District.
George LaSoya, CTCOG Aging Department.
Susie Moore, Friends for Life.
Jerry Miller, part of Central Texas Independent Living.
Stephanie Dozier, Hill Country Community Action.
Thank you. Sir?
Thomas Wilson, Area Agency on Aging.
Thank you.
We're back. I'm the Housing Director for CTCOG.
Thank you.
Carrie George, Texas A&M UCare.
And Sandra Blackwell, Texas A&M UCare as well, University Center for Applied Research.
Ashlyn Ushak, Central Texas Council of Governments.
Janelle Fraser Lake. Apologies. Central Texas 4C Head Start.
Save the best for last, Janelle.
We have one more out here.
Yes, oh, Kenny, yes. Thank you very much. And online?
Good morning. I'm Alicia Alvarez. I'm the PTC for CTCOG, and I'm with TxDOT.
Thank you.
And
Ambrosia.
I'm Ambrosia Moore from Texas A&M.
Very good. Chloe?
Good morning. My name is Chloe Luna, and I'm with Kimley-Horn.
Very good. Clarissa, I think that is.
Hi, good morning. I'm Clarissa Martinez with Temple College.
Very good. Clarissa, good to see you. Uriah?
And good morning. This is Uriah Nelson with Central Texas Council of Governments.
Very good. Thank you. Zeke?
Hi, y'all. Zeke with Kimley-Horn.
Very good. Ryan?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Graves. I'm also with Kimley-Horn.
Very good. Anyone else online want to introduce themselves? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. First action item, starting on pages 7 through 12, are the approval of minutes from the January 6th meeting. So if you want to take a few moments to review those, and then we'll seek a motion to approve. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Very good. Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Daryl. And at this point, we need to go ahead and vote on the approval of the meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor say nay. Thank you very much. The next discussion and action item begins on page 13. I'll have Anita talk about the Rural Transit Day recognition and proclamation. So, Anita.
Thank you. Ashlyn, do you mind turning the slide? I think our batteries might be dead in our little clicker here. At our last meeting, I brought up the idea to, if our committee had an interest in highlighting Rural Transit Day. It's on July 16th. We have a draft proclamation inside of the packet, but the emphasis for this particular Rural Transit Day would be an opportunity to leverage and use public engagement for our FY 2731 RPTCP plan take that out for public comment, sort of getting our name out there, what we do. This would be for both public transit districts, Carr and Hill Country Transit District, as well as non-emergency Cliff. Y'all could host an event in your area, and I think that Cliff, you had some ideas as well. But the main priority would be if our committee has an appetite to do that. If you're interested in doing that and leveraging the plan to take it out to public comment through that type of activity, I can add that to our work plan and see if TxDOT would be willing to fund something like that.
Any thoughts, comments? Sounds like there's an opportunity for exposure here, which is always good, especially for the services that we all represent. I think that's a great opportunity. Any ideas on the activities that?
I was thinking that it would be like touch a bus or touch the NEMT vehicle.
Can you kind of flesh that a little bit more? What does that mean in your eyes?
Well, I think that like if there's already an activity happening, Cliff, you are so popular on social media. Y'all do some great events.
Really?
And you have, oh yes, and he has lots of fun. He's always drawing a crowd wherever he goes. But I was thinking if there is some activity happening in one of our counties that you also serve, that maybe we could leverage that, and instead of hosting a booth, hosting a touch a NEMT vehicle.
And so we do a lot of events throughout this area, especially with our healthcare partners. So when we're hosting a marketing event, or let's say even a hospital clinic or something, we could definitely promote this and even make it some type of social media where they actually, take a picture actually touching a bus, one of our vans or something, and tagging, the COG, the transit systems, wherever they may be, to recognize that and for the project.
And then for cars somewhere in your region that y'all.
Yeah, we could do something.
Do you have any thoughts of how we could leverage that?
Well, we can always run anything on our website and posters on our buses in advance for our passengers.
And then, y'all always do the travel training model, and if
Yeah,
there's
we
something
do.
that's happening.
We do a lot of events already, travel training. We did 66 or so last year, travel training. But we also go to, especially Tony takes different groups around to touch bus and different events and parks, things like that. But the amazing thing to me is we can't do it enough. I mean, literally, we do a lot, but it's still not enough because we still run into a lot of people that are, oh, well, we didn't know you switched to microtransit, or we didn't know this or that. So it's just it's a need, and you can't do it enough. We're willing to do more.
That's a good point, Darryl. I'll give you a short, quick story here. We had one of our child care customers call in for services, and I was working with this person to get eligibility determined, but she just got in a wreck. So she didn't have access to her car. She had a young one, didn't have the ability to go to the grocery store. And so we talked about the bus passes. Because, well, I'm not very close to the fixed route. And we said, well, you're in luck because they will come, where do you live? They were in the zone. The hop will come to you. And so we gave her enough passes for that week to get situated with the car and get situated. So that was new to her. And, so you're absolutely right. You probably can't do enough exposure.
But we're willing to do more, open to ideas.
George?
So which rural cities are we looking at?
That's what my question was. The rural problem is, especially that Rhonda has, she's got 11 counties. It's
15.
hard to do a single event.
15.
Oh, 15, sorry.
Big difference, man.
Everybody, hang on, how many did we give you? So that's what's going on in my head, especially in some of our rural cities. we only have one or two vans there, so there's not a lot of, if I do an event in the rural areas, I actually shut the service down. That becomes the challenge. So I do like the idea of probably doing, selfies on, we've attempted to do it a couple of times. I know it's been very successful down in the valley that they did for a social media event. We could try to do it again, but that's my whole process. I like the idea. The execution is my work because of the limited resources that we have out.
Well, what county, what area would you select if it was up to you?
Yeah, see, that's hard to say. I really wouldn't want to do it here in Bell County just because of the fact that it would get pushed into the urbanized system. So it would have to either be somewhere in Milam County or in Gatesville. So in either Rockdale or Gatesville.
Well, you had one in Cameron, and you had, and Rhonda, y'all had yours out west. At least we have from one end of our region to the other end of the region, and then with Cliff in the middle somewhere, having 3 events. I don't think that we have to hit every county. I think we have a plan to get the word out. And it doesn't have to be huge. That's the way that I see it. Like, we start small, make it scalable, make it successful, leverage it for public engagement for our plan. And then next year, we could double it if there's still interest.
Anita, I have 2 recommendations.
Okay.
I think, Stephanie, I'm gonna throw you, but because Hill Country runs in Cameron, the senior center, that hospital that they converted to be a great initiative. And then I would recommend probably either one at Hamilton. I know Gulfway is a good one to do it. So, but if you have that, and then the other component is a lot of us work with the RAC. The RAC can also bring other vehicles, emergency response vehicles. I know it's rural transportation, but I'm sure that Tracy would do that, or we could look at Gatesville to do this in Gatesville too. That's the other place that I'm thinking. So it would help bring traction to the event.
Well, George, it sounds like that you are running with this plan.
Well-
You've got it. Would you like to lead it and be in conversation with me so that we can get the word out?
I mean, so what do you think?
I'm good. The other thought I had was kind of adopt a patron, so you ride along with somebody so you see it through their eyes and then report back. You don't want to report the negative stuff, but I mean, the good and bad needs to come up to the light, so that would be great.
Well, I'm not opposed to reporting negative opportunities for improvement.
Yeah.
What about utilizing, COG has a new PIO or marketing person, is that correct, Kylie?
Yes.
I mean, using some kind of promotional activity through social media, covering all of our entities for that particular day. I mean, I like what you're saying, Stephanie, seeing it through the eyes of a writer. To me, that's very interesting content. It's something that could be done with the video, maybe on a short ride, and kind of promote that maybe. But it sounds like there's interest. It sounds like there's enough interest to move forward. So we do need to have an action item on this and approved. So again, the action is to gauge interest and capacity among transit districts and non-emergency transportation providers to participate in rural transit activities and pursue coordination with TxDOT, as Anita said, for approval for funding, and pursue the plan based on this appetite for this interest. So do I have a motion to move forward with this? Thank you. Is there a second? Stephanie, okay, so those in favor for recognizing Rural Transit Day, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Looking forward to getting that fleshed out.
I have 3 fresh packets if anybody would like one.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, that's why.
Next up is discussion item 6, consulting firm procurement and scoring process for 2731 Regional Public Transportation Coordination Plan, pages 17 through 34. Anita?
Thank you. A little background on our procurement process. This process started last year when we were first awarded the funds. However, after 2 attempts of going through the 791 purchasing cooperative, we did not have a good response. So I think it was in January, we went out for RFPs, solicitation of some proposals. 6 proposals were scored, and we had a procurement packet that we submitted through our CTCOG procurement process. That information is not inside the packet. If anybody's interested in that information, we'd be happy to give it out to you by email request. However, we do have our methodology inside of the packet and the process for that. The justification for the vendor selection, Kimley-Horn, they presented the strongest overall methodologies, and they demonstrated a clear understanding of their role and how CTCOG would be partnering in collaboration with them, as well as the tech stock requirements. They also defined a responsibility matrix, parallel task sequencing to address the compressed schedule. That was one of our biggest challenges, is that we've had almost a year to work on this plan. And so now we are in a compressed schedule of completing the plan within like a 90-day period. And so the criteria was based on cost, qualifications, and experience, proposed methodology, financial stability. Let's see right here. Here is the weight. The cost was 40%. The proposed methodology was 40%. The qualifications 15%. Financial stability was 5%. And the individuals or the representatives that actually scored the project, we had 1 from CAR, 1 from Hill Country Transit District, 1 from CTN, and 1 CTCOG staff member. And as you can see inside of your packet, as well as on the PowerPoint screen, Kimley-Horn scored 1.25. They scored the highest. Goodman Corporation scored a 2, and then KFH Group scored 2.5, with Foresight, Foursquare, and UCare all scoring at 5. Are there any questions about that scoring process? Do y'all have some questions?
I just don't understand the scoring, because on the previous page, it gives a rubric on the scoring process, and the scoring process is 5 is excellent, 4 is very good, 3 is satisfactory, 2 is weak, and 1 is poor. Then on the other side, you show the scoring for each section, which I'm not sure what A, B, C, D, and E means, but you show scoring for each section, but then you say 1.25 is the highest score. What rubric are you using for those scorings on there?
The original score, each representative scored individually. And so that was based on 5 being excellent, and then 1 being poor. And then when it came to adding them all together, we flipped those, and the 1 became the highest one.
I got you.
And the anonymous is the A, B, C, and E. Those are the representatives from each of our entities that scored. Did that clarify, Sandra?
Yes. Yes.
Are there any questions online?
All right, so before we move on from that, I just wanted to acknowledge Anita and her work on spearheading this proposal, and representatives from Hill Country, City Rural Rides, and Seton Medical Center for their work in exploring that. It's no easy task, and especially with the quick turnaround. So thank you all very much. Discussion item number 7 is a presentation from Kimley-Horn for the FY 27-31 RPTCP scheduled activities, starting on page 38. Presenter is Ryan Graves from Kimley-Horn.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, great. Let me know when you're ready to go to the next slide. All right, so first I just wanted to introduce our team, and I just wanted to say that we are very excited to support CTCOG in the development of their coordination plan for the second time. On our team, we've kind of structured this team to have Dan Malsum as our QA/QC manager, who helped update the previous coordination plan, so carrying over a lot of that institutional knowledge from the previous effort. Myself as the project manager, James McGill, having worked at CTCOG, he's got a lot of institutional knowledge as well, so we'll kind of use him as a technical advisor throughout the extent of the project. And then I'll let Zeke Golf and Chloe Luna give a little introduction to themselves since they're on the call today.
Hey, y'all. Been lucky enough to work with CTCOG and K-Tempo a number of times in the past. Love working with Anita. Glad I'm here.
Hey y'all, I'm Chloe Luna. Sorry, was someone saying something?
Go ahead, Chloe.
Okay, no worries. My name is Chloe Luna. I'll be helping out Zeke and Ryan with production support, and I'm super excited to be helping y'all out with this plan.
Thank you, Chloe. So we can go to the next slide. So what is the Regional Public Transportation Coordination Plan, and what's the reason for having one? The big ultimate reason for our coordination plan is to obviously work with all of the providers, get an idea for how they're currently coordinating, really create that baseline existing condition to understand what the needs are, where we might have unmet services or where we might have duplications in services, and then work towards creating strategies and priorities and goals to address those unmet needs. And so what have we done so far with this coordination plan? We kicked off a couple weeks ago. We have already had an initial project kickoff meeting with the tag here, so good to see a lot of you again. If y'all weren't able to attend that previous kickoff meeting, glad to have you here now. We've also delivered the first 2 draft chapters to TxDOT for their review, which include kind of the intro chapter as well as the public engagement chapter, which obviously will be revised as we continue engagement throughout the extent of this project. And then we've also began developing the existing conditions, which will feed into chapters 3 through 6. And those chapters 1 through 6 will develop our interim plan, which we hope to deliver kind of at the end of May, if not earlier. The advisory group, you guys are insanely important for this project. Your input will be vital in developing this project and this plan. The coordination plan really can't move forward without input from this advisory group. We need to hear from the providers, we need to hear from the operators, and that really helps us to strengthen how we're identifying these gaps, how we're identifying duplications in services, where there are unmet needs. And then it also really helps us to develop our recommendations in the proposed project list. And so how do you give input? We'll have 2 more of these workshops throughout the extent of the project. Those are identified below. The first workshop will be sometime in the week of May 18th to the 22nd. So we will send out a poll to get some of your availability so we can identify the exact date and time. But that workshop will basically recap what we learned through our existing conditions analysis and the unmet needs that we were able to identify. And we'll want to make sure that we're balancing that with real world experiences from the providers so that we can kind of reality check those existing conditions. And then we'll come back about a month later, and we'll start talking about what are our major goals for this plan and how are we going to meet those goals with the strategies that we propose. And so I believe Anita has sent out, correct me if I'm wrong, Anita, but we'll be sending out or have sent out kind of a collection sheet for proposed projects and innovative ideas. That way we can hear from the providers directly about what are some things that you might want to deploy with this plan, and that'll really help us start to generate those ideas. That way we can work through those over the course of the next few months. And so be on the lookout for those calendar invites. Next slide.
I've sent that
Oh, go ahead.
idea out, the project idea. I have not sent that one out. I sent the other one out for that first one that we did.
Oh, the transportation provider survey. Yep.
Yes, I've sent that one out. That is due, I think, April 22nd.
21st, I believe. Yep, it's on this slide. Yeah, it's a perfect transition. Anita sent out this transportation provider survey last week. Fairly quick turnaround, so let us know if you have any questions. It's a fairly long survey that's coming directly from the transportation guidebook as part of this project. It's really just to get an idea of what types of services y'all are providing, and it kind of reiterates a lot of the information you would report to the National Transit Database. So let us know if you have any questions as you're working through that. And then, as I was talking about earlier, we'll be also complementing that with a project request sheet. It's only a few pages, and it's really more geared at getting at project IDs or ideas that we can start thinking about and start sniffing around on. Next slide. And then the next step, so we're kind of kicking this off now, but we'll host those two we'll host the two tag workshops later on in the project, a month out from now, and then 2 months again. And we do that so that we can keep in touch with y'all periodically throughout the extent of the project, making sure that we're staying up to date with anything that might change over the course of the project. By the end of May, we'll have a draft interim plan, and that really gets at kind of those existing conditions while starting to talk about some strategies. And then by the end of July, we'll have or by early July, we'll have our draft final plan, and that'll have all of the chapters with draft recommendations, and that'll allow for a public comment period so that not only can the providers provide input on the plan, but the public can also review the plan and give us any feedback in case we missed anything. And then we'll submit the final plan to TxDOT for their review. And then we'll probably do a couple of weeks of back and forth with the TxDOT just to make sure that we're capturing all of their comments. And so with that, we'll open it up to any questions.
I have a quick question. This has been in the survey that Anita sent out. We are at Workforce. We are not a transportation provider. We are a wraparound service, primarily resource for those in need of transportation assistance. Is it worthwhile for my organization to complete the survey if we're not a transportation provider?
Yeah, I would say if you can give it a quick review and see if there should be some questions that are still applicable to any type of services that are being provided out there. There definitely will be some questions that are not super applicable to your services, but any information that we can utilize to inform the plan will be super helpful.
Okay.
Because this survey really helps us flesh out those provider profiles. And the provider profiles go from everything from fixed route all the way to like taxi cab services. So anywhere where we can get that information directly from you rather than trying to pull it online or something will be very helpful.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say kind of to everyone, as you're going through that survey, if you feel like there are questions that are not applicable to your specific services that you're providing, feel free to pass by those and just put NA or let us know if you have a question about them. But it's kind of meant to be a catch-all rather than a specific to each individual agency.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Anyone else have any other questions before we move on? Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks everyone.
All right, next discussion, item number 8 regarding draft chapters 1 and 2 of the FY 27 through 31 RPTCP. Anita.
Thank you. Those are in your packet, chapters 1 and 2. We did a lot of the work on these last year when we updated our bylaws and looked towards the items that we really wanted to include moving forward. Please review those. Because once it's written in stone, it's written in stone. Let me know of any edits, any ideas, anything that needs to change. And I do believe that we're requesting that information back by April 28th. I'll give you all a few minutes to look at it in case you want to make any comments on it.
Anything jump out at you before we move on to the next piece?
I've got a kind of a question. So this, I get my documents mixed up sometimes, but this one is really the transportation coordination plan. But a lot of this is also covered in the MTP. Transit, for example, I think is chapter 5 in the MTP. So how do we, tell me if this is wrong, should I just take information from chapter 5 of the MTP and dump in here, or does it need to be 2 separate documents, or can they be blended better together?
Well, you can feather some of the information together, but remember that the MTP only covers Bell County.
True, but it goes into a lot more detail.
So you have to, if you're lifting any information from another document, keep in mind that KTMPO and that MTP is designed for Bell County, Coppers Cove, and Kempner, whereas our rural transit covers all of the CTCOG areas. And so, and then also, to Tony's point earlier, is that the rural transit is very different from the information inside of the MTP. Maybe you got some of the very similar thought processes, but you have to be very careful not to exclude our rural counties and our rural transit drivers. If you do pull that out, just let me know so I can really look at it from a different lens, Daryl, because that's one of the things I do really want to avoid is any
Well, we
ideas.
can keep them separate, that's
Yeah.
for sure. There are some key things some good language in that.
Oh, yeah.
Be
Yeah.
nice.
Any good language that we can use that will elevate our plan, let's use it. But the thought process behind the MTP is a very different boundary.
Are there any designations to the colors used on, like red meaning?
You tell me what you're thinking.
So when I look at a map like this, I'm thinking rural is going to be highlighted one color, the more urban areas are going to be highlighted another area. So now I'm looking at reds and I'm thinking, oh, what's bad about this?
These are our branding colors.
Okay.
So there's nothing bad about red here.
And that's just what
Yeah.
that's what you have to tell me.
You know what, honestly, I'm a color person too, so I read into colors. So it took me a minute to get past that. But we can, if you feel more, if the group in general has a different viewpoint about colors, we can look at that.
Any other comments about this piece? Thank you, Anita. We'll move on to discussion item number 9 on pages 103 to 112, the FY25 Regional Transportation Coordination Plan. And first up is the Transportation Newsletter. Ashley, give us an update on that.
It's actually going to be Anita first.
Anita
Yeah, I'm
first,
sorry.
okay.
I interjected something this early this
No
morning.
worries, no worries.
I wanted to include our quarterly progress index for 2025. That's that, it's inside of your packet. If you're looking online, it's not there yet. But these are all of the unmet needs and transportation gaps that we've been working on for the last several years. And so one of the things that I was actually looking at, and we have a huge emphasis on right now, are our food deserts, housing areas. So that's actually one of the unmet needs inside of this FY25 implementation plan is a food desert. So I've been in communication with DDCT that covers the same regions, counties that that RTAP covers, to talk about how we can really roll that moving forward. And so as we continue to work on our FY27 to 31 plan, a lot of the information that's in this table here are going to be ideas that we're going to want to bring forward. Maybe update the language, look at a different strategy, work with our consultant, God bless you, work with our consultant to address these so that the work, God bless you, the work that we started does not lay dormant as we transition into our new plan. So roll some of these over. And so if you have any ideas on this implementation plan, you've looked at it, you're like, I'd like to really do X, Y, Z instead of this, or tweak it a little bit, please email us and let us know.
I think there may be an opportunity with Daryl's presentation, Hill Countries later, maybe Tony, because some of the data you shared in your quarterly report kind of addresses some of this food desert concern. It's interesting, some of the data, especially in the rural area that you're going to share later, maybe you can highlight that, Daryl, as far as where people are going. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you, Nita.
Thank you.
Ashley.
Good morning. For the transportation newsletter, January and February, we had an increase in open rates, likely due to people being back in office after holidays as expected. We did not have any new subscribers during either of these months. Can you click to the next slide, please? And then beginning this month, we're going to start reporting all the metrics on a quarterly basis. So this reporting period reflects Q2, which is December 2025 to February 2026. If you go to the next slide, I have the chart and the graph. As you can see, we had 96 opens in December, and for the February newsletter, we had 166 opens. So definitely an increase there, as well as the clicks as well. You can go to the next slide, please. And then we are introducing a public comment log. We have already recorded 4 public comments regarding the fiscal year 2025 implementation activities. Can you click to the next slide? So this graph shows that we received 1 public comment in January and 3 in March, total of 4.
The actual public comments are in your packet. And so we had 2 testimonies, and also this was the place, Daryl, that I did lift some of the comments from KTMPO over to this because they relate to public transit. So they're inside of your packet. There you go, Ashton.
And then this is just showing that we had 2 public comments for showing appreciation. They were letters we received. One was travel times and one was service hours. They both kind of related to location pickups, what time, both, I believe, in the Fort Hood area as well. And that is all I have.
Just a thought that jumped out at me as we go back to the public transportation proclamation and plans that we're going to look at and develop. maybe adding this part of the social media campaign might be helpful. If you think that's worthwhile, Ashley, because that'd be a good way to add that for exposure for the newsletter, but yeah, good increases.
You know, where is it posted right now? In public comments, like.
It's inside of the packet. I have not updated it online.
Okay. But
So-
right, if somebody submits, it's, where would they view it? to make-
Oh, we received these by email. And then the other two were received through the public comment, KTMPO public comment, but they were related to public transit. And that was like a little broader issue of addressing unmet needs. So I thought it was appropriate to fold those into our work here. You have an idea, George?
No, I just didn't know how, like, to increase response, I didn't know where that would, general public would know to make a comment. And the other posts.
I think that when we go out and do public engagement, whether I'm doing it for KTMPO or for this plan, I went out and we got a lot of public comments there, but those are rolled up into the plan, chapters 1 and 2. I think word of mouth is helpful.
Moving on to discussion item number 10 regarding the quarterly update from Central Texas Rural Transit District, pages 113 through 116. Rhonda.
Hello, and as you'll know, we've started the service up in Lampasas. And it's doing pretty good. We do need a couple of drivers there. So if y'all know anyone that needs employment in Lampasas, we are looking for a couple of drivers to hope to increase that service.
I know someone in workforce.
You do? Did you?
I'll holler at you.
And so hopefully we'll get those filled because we want to start the medical transportation there, but we don't want to do it until we have drivers in place because, you know, that will, one driver can't do. And then our rides for this quarter, San Saba has had 282. Mills County is up to 578 for the quarter, and Hamilton 352. And then Lampasas, we only had March, and we had 310 rides in March. So we're looking forward to increasing service in Lampasas.
Do you have a general idea of where the rides are going to in Lampasas?
A lot of them to the Senior Citizen Center, Dialysis Center, and then there's a clinic that some are going to as well. So far.
Yeah, that's good activity for 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Rhonda?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Rhonda? All right, discussion item number 11 regarding the quarterly update from Hill Country Transit District, pages 117 through 134. So Tony.
Actually, I'm going to cover
Take care,
that,
Darrell. Okay,
which
very good.
actually though brings me to a little bit of an announcement. Tony will be doing these in the future. I'm going to be retiring at the end of July. So we'll have one more meeting in July before I'm off to greener pastures, I suppose. But Tony will be taking over a lot of these charts. Just FYI there. The other thing I wanted to mention ahead of time, I did send this quarterly report out, I think yesterday. And I don't know if everybody got it or if you had time to get into it, but it goes into a lot of granularity. There's a lot of detail in here. I'm not going to cover all of it by any means. However, this is the fourth quarterly report of 25. So it just so happens these numbers I'm about to read to you really are they're the annual numbers as well. So it's a little bit of a unique time. Once a year comes around, we can really see what the numbers look like for an entire year. So let me just run through these pretty quickly, and then I'll try to cover some of the food desert stuff as well at the end. So ridership first, I'll just cover that. Ridership in the urban division Year-to-date was 470,728 riders. The Fort Cavazos piece, I'm sorry, the Fort Hood part of that, which is confusing because when it was Fort Cavazos, they named the system, our bus system there, the Cavazos Connector. And then they changed it back to Fort Hood, but they wanted to honor Cavazos. They wanted to keep that Cavazos name. So it's interchangeable, trust me. in our case. Fort Hood was 212,295 riders last year. The rural system was 16,556 riders, and these, by the way, are passenger trips, not necessarily passengers, but passenger trips through the year. And then collectively, if you add all those together, the total system is last year was 699,579. So literally just shy of 700,000. And I think our target last year was 650,000. We exceeded that a little bit. And I did look at the numbers this quarter, which just ended 7 days ago, so they're not incorporated in this report, but they are still trending up. So I still do not think we have hit our plateau by any means. So I think, I don't know, it's guesswork, I'm throwing a dart at the wall, but I would guess probably by next year, at the end of 26, we'll probably be right about 1 million passenger trips for the system. And then a few other interesting statistics here. This is small print, so bear with me. On-time performance was 86% for the year. The mean wait time was 13 minutes and 30 seconds. Trips over 1 hour, there were 1,112 of them that were over an hour. That's a bad thing. We don't want that. But if you convert that into percentages, like 1/4 of 1%, 0.26%. Let's see. Another interesting was vehicle accidents. We had 29 accidents through the year. That translates to 1.42 accidents per 100,000 miles. Not bad. Customer complaints, we had 283 complaints, and that breaks down to 40.5 complaints per 100,000 passengers. Training events, somebody mentioned that earlier. It was 66 travel training classes that we did last year. So those are just some interesting statistics. And then if you are interested, you can go into the report. It's also broken down by city and by county also. So if you wanted to see what, for example, Milam County had, you can see how that big pie is sliced for Milam County, et cetera. So those pages are there for Belton, Cove, Arthur Heights, Temple and Killeen. And then we get into the counties a little bit. So this is, I think what you were getting at, Ben, was the top destinations for each of these areas. It is kind of interesting. So Bell County, the top destinations were Thornton Dialysis in Temple, Baylor Scott and White, of course, in Temple, then Saleo Plaza actually was also a top destination. And it's broken out by percentage there as well. Coryell County, top destinations were Coryell Memorial Hospital, Walmart Supercenter, Baylor Scott and White Clinic, Coryell Health Clinic. Milam County was Walmart Supercenter, Rockdale Estates and Rehab, Cameron Brookshire Brothers, Temple Thornton Dialysis. Cameron was Brookshire Brothers Plaza, East Kitchen, Thrift Store, Sefco Travel Center. And then you get into some specific towns in the county. So Gatesville, the top destinations were Coriel Memorial Hospital, Walmart Supercenter, Baylor Scott and White, and then Coriel Health Clinic. Lampasas was Lampasas Senior Center, Lampasas Walmart, and Lampasas HEB. And then Rockdale, there were top destinations because that was just added. And so it's kind of a secondary main city. So you can kind of hear, you guys know where you can buy food, you know, the Walmart, the HEBs, things of that nature. But this is the top destinations that we go to. But I don't know that that really addresses the deserts, food desert, per se, because that's where there is no opportunity for food. So I don't know if that answers that question for you, Ben.
I don't know if that really touched on the matrix earlier, but it might be worthwhile to look into as we look at some of those elements that aren't addressed.
I think it would be more beneficial to do some research and figure out the opposite of the top destinations. What are the least destinations that we really need to address? That it's the food desert part that is the big question mark.
One thought that I just had is if we had a CTCOG map and we did a 3-mile radius around each of these grocery stores or anyone that has food, and then we could look at it from a whole perspective and see the holes.
Yeah, you know, that's a good idea. One of the advantages of the microtransit system is the software that goes with it. So we can literally pull up most all destinations. There might be a few outliers, but literally the exact location on the map. So we could overlay those maps and see some interesting dynamics there, and specifically for food deserts. See what, how close we are to them. There's some changes we can make in routes or something. Although microtransit doesn't have routes anymore.
You know, one of the things that I found most interesting about your data was the average number of miles per trip. And it was like 3 and change, three miles and change. So to me, that was interesting. I would have expected that to be a little higher, honestly. So I'm curious, why do you think that might be? Just for short-term trips, or you're not sure how far they can go with the rides, or?
No, I think they can, it's a curb-to-curb service. So they literally pull the app up or call the office and arrange for a pickup and a destination. It's just typically, if you think about your own life, not so much your commute to work necessarily, but in your home. If you drew a circle 3 miles around your house, you would capture 90% of everywhere you go within that. Just kind of a fact of public transit.
Actually, there's a theory out there for transportation. It's called live, work, and play.
Yep.
Most people want to live, work, and play within a 3-mile radius of their home. And that's schools, hospitals, grocery shopping. And so we actually utilize that theory in our regional active transportation plan, which is walking, biking, and rolling.
There's just so much data that comes out of our software. I mean, this is just some of the highlight interesting ones. I mean, it tracks our customer service telephone calls. How long are they? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? What percentage of them is over 3 minutes? It's more information than it's information overload. So these things I just read are kind of key.
Do you track their ages and then maybe those who have some limited mobility?
Yeah. 80, go ahead.
We track the ADAs, we do. Ages, not so much, just because anybody can ride now with the app. It's public transportation, so we don't, unless we put a survey out to actually capture each individual as they get on the bus. The age part would be.
Not the specific ages. We do know how many seniors are riding based on, because they get a 50% discount. So we know that.
So when they fill out when they actually use the app, do they have to create an account?
They do, but they don't have to give us their age. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
Yeah,
data
no.
analyst by training.
it is pretty easy. You just, the first time you ride, you just do a few questions. So that creates a profile for you. And then from that point forward, any ride that you book with that phone number, or even that you call, you have a profile set up with customer service, same thing. It tracks all that information. If we wanted to, we could pull up a certain phone number and tell that individual, you know, you tend to go here, you tend to go there on Saturdays, you don't travel at all, you know, et cetera. But it's interesting. Well, you can.
Typically, when you start asking the information that we get from those EDAs, veterans, et cetera, those are the people that they'll put that information in that app, their profile, so they get benefits of that. If they don't really fall in a category, they're not going to give us anything. The minimum requirements, either a phone number or an email address, and that's it.
And then you risk the balance of asking too many
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Getting too personal.
Big brother. One other thing I wanted to mention, then I'll close. The last quarter, I mentioned the van pool concept that we are wanting to pursue. We did proceed with several meetings with other different transit agencies that are providing van pool services. And long story short, we are still convinced that that is definitely the way to go. Particularly in our case, what we're going to try to start with is a van pool system that addresses shift work. So if you're working midnight to 8 in the morning kind of thing, a van pool would be a solution for transportation for you. And it's a very interesting process. We've looked at Cap Metro and other smaller systems, rural systems, et cetera. And so we've got a lot of feedback. We've got some sample contracts. We've got cost data now. So really it's a matter of compiling all that information, building it into a program, getting it funded and moving forward. So I don't know if we'll be able to launch it in 26, but I think definitely in 27 launch this van pool system. I think it'll solve some of the gaps that we've got, particularly late night shift workers.
Exciting, thank you. Any other comments for Daryl? Tony?
Thank you for the great information. This is good.
All right, staff update, item discussion number 12, Urian. Ashland, any updates your meeting schedule?
I have an update on upcoming conference, the Texas Transit Association 2026 Conference Expo and Rodeo will be held April 28th to May 2nd, 2026 in Lubbock, Texas, at the Lubbock Memorial Civic Center. It's also hosted by City Bus, which is their transportation they use in Lubbock. The conference will also celebrate TTA's 40th anniversary and City Bus's 50th anniversary. They'll have additional activities like tours and tech stops, operators, meetings. And I also included a QR code so you can scan that and get more information.
Oh, of course.
Hey, so if you guys don't know, I am the unofficial chairperson for the TTA rodeo committee. So I actually set that course up. I went up there last week to set the course up. So just so you know, I do it every year. I go to each one of these conventions, set up the rodeo for the bus competitions. And as Rhonda knows, that's how I pretty much got to meet a lot of people. But I am the person that sets it all up. If you have never seen a rodeo, this Lubbock's a little ways, but I will tell you, it's interesting to sit there and watch and to celebrate the drivers for who they really are and what they really accomplished. There's 11 obstacles that they have to drive through. It's extremely tight. I make it as tight as possible to drive the obstacles. I know City Bus was just livid with me because I spent almost 2.5 hours setting up one obstacle because I didn't like the way the bus turned. We ended up throwing that bus out to get another bus, which started the whole process over again. But I just wanted to, as Rhonda knows, watching us set up these things, but I just want you, if you ever get a chance, I know next year is going to be in Fort Worth. So if you get a chance to ever go up to one of these conventions, you're more than welcome. Come out there. If you find me, I'm the guy that's running around with my head cut off during the rodeo event, but I will walk you through the whole event and what it does and how it's created and everything for you. So we really do appreciate people coming out there and just learning about what these drivers do and to just see the drivers' faces when they finish the competition. So,
What's the prize?
so yes, at TTA, they get gifts.
Well, they get a trophy or a plaque or something.
Yeah.
Also, if they finish in first and second, they get to go to nationals paid
Right.
by TechStop.
For the paratransit buses, for the big buses, the 35 and 40-foot buses, if they place first or second, they are eligible to go to the national side at the American Public Transit Association after competition there. Now, I'm not on that committee, but I am on the National Community Association Rodeo Committee. So, and that is held in Omaha this year on Mother's Day, of all days to have it. But same thing, it now is at the national level when you're talking about every 50 state that they try to send somebody. So,
Very nice.
And these rodeos are spelled ROAD.
Yeah. No horses, no horses. Now Fort Worth may be something different.
Federal or state updates. Air quality is up here. Who's delivering the air quality report?
I can. So for both Colleen and Temple, it was 63 parts per billion for the month of March.
Member updates or discussion, anything else for the good of the group?
Like I have something.
Yeah.
So Hill Country Transit District also just, I sent up emails out to several people. We have now a stakeholders newsletter that we would also like to, if you'd like to join. If you have not, please email me, let me know that you would like to have the link to it, and then I'll send you the link. But I pretty much try to hit everybody that I can think of real quick. I'm on my 4th iteration of emails out. So if I have not got to you, please email me. I'm at taustin@takehop.com, and then I will send an invitation out to you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I've been thinking about this public engagement event you've been talking about in rural areas. I don't know if it's possible or not, but it might be try a trip. If you've never ridden, maybe you could do a one-day thing, limit of 10 people who get to try a trip free in whatever town you're in, so that they could then be part of the local. That was kind of neat sort of talk. I don't know what it would do to your finances to do free trips for people who've never ridden before, but it might be a way to get somebody to hop on there and see what it's like. So that was it.
Thank you, Joe. The next meeting is July the 7th at 9:30 in the morning. Unless there's anything else, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Thank you. It is 10.